So in Resident Evil Village, the four lords of the region took center stage, showcasing their different powers and personalities, being that obstacle that Ethan Winters had to face to save his daughter Rose. But during his adventure, a mid-boss monster actually caught my eye, being a behemoth of a character that was pretty refreshing to fight during our playthrough, which in this video, we'll be discussing the alpha Lycan monster, Urias, and his older brother, Urias Strajer. Which in this video, we'll be doing a quick summarization of these monsters and how they became the way they are, and we also quickly cover the background to the Lycan infection that plagued the village, causing the two brothers to become the giant Lycan monsters that we saw them to be. Which to start with, the name Urias stems from the translation from the Romanian language, meaning giant. This of course covers the name that we have with a younger brother Urias and his older brother Urias Strajer, with Strajer meaning guardian, perfectly fitting his role during Resident Evil Village, but we'll get to that when we cover our battle with him later in the video. But as mentioned earlier, both Urias monsters came to be due to the Lycan infection that plagued the village. This was all due to the experimentations of Mother Miranda, the leader and godlike figure of the region, with Mother Miranda's discovery of the megamycete underneath the village, then gaining knowledge of how to use a mold to revive her deceased daughter, Ava.
Fuck you crazy bitch!
Prompting Mother Miranda to experiment on the megamycete, which eventually allows her to create the cadou parasite, an embryonic-looking amalgamation of the megamycete and mold experimentations that she discovered, allowing her to use the cadou parasite on the villagers, in hopes of finding a viable host to revive her deceased daughter onto. Though the experimentations of using the cadou parasite on the villagers would be swift, partly due to her manipulation and gaining the trust of the population, which she came in as a savior when the people of the village was hit with an illness that was taking people's lives, allowing her to come in and give the supposed cure to the ill, which initially appeared to work, curing those ravaged by the illness. But not long after, those who received the cure from Mother Miranda started to exhibit some interesting signs, leading to the discovery of the Lycan infection that we saw so prominent in Resident Evil Village. This storyline that I just mentioned is interestingly played in a similar note to the events in Resident Evil 4, and how both origins of the village's respective history of infection was explained in the ending credits scenes, with both villages appearing to be living their normal lives. That is until we see the population swayed into taking a cure or infection, leading to the horrible monsters that we saw from both games. So in regards to the cadou in Resident Evil Village, the Lycan creatures that we saw are actually the failed results of assimilation with the parasite, with both the host and cadou rejecting each other's presence within the vessel, giving those infected to have some animalistic traits, which is a stark contrast from what we saw from the four lords of the village, which the cadou parasite gave them some unworldly powers and mutations, befitting their roles as leaders of the region. But in this case with the Urias brothers, they too were infected with the cadou parasite, but even though they bear some similarities to the Lycan creatures that we saw in this game, they would instead gain some benefits from the cadou parasite, literally becoming the behemoths of monsters that we saw during our gameplay. Also, a fun fact about Urias was that he was originally the village leader, with this concept design of this character stating, Urias is the Lycan's boss. He used to be the leader of the village, now he's just a shadow of his former self. Urias Strajer is his older brother. Also, with this fact of Urias being known as a former village leader prior to his infection, this aspect also parallels the events in Resident Evil 4, where we saw the former village chief in that game, the Big Cheese or Torres Mendez, becoming a hulking character after his infection with the Las Plagas, who was a mid-boss monster that we had to face. Though Urias in this case towers above the Big Cheese and shows us unprecedented strength and dexterity, because examples of him using a large hammer and his older brother using a mace shows how powerful physically they can be. Also, the fact that he's able to jump from place to place with ease while wielding said hammers again substantiates his overall superhuman-like strength. But with our introduction with Urias, he would be faced very early on in the game, all the while being chased around by the many Lycan-like monsters. But once once we face him head on, we quickly realize the power difference between the Lycan creatures, with Urias clearly demonstrating that he's the alpha amongst all the monsters, being at least twice the height of the regular enemies, resembling a lion with his mane-like hair. But even with all that, we only see the glimpses of Urias here and there during our gameplay, but the final confrontation with him would happen in the village stronghold area. Here we face him in full power, where he displays a superhuman-like strength, giving us a plethora of attacks, and being very durable when using our weapons against him. I even tried to use my infinite shotgun on this behemoth, and even then it took an extremely long time to take him down. Also, it's great to see that he does have phases during our boss battle with him, where he calls on for support from his other Lycan brethren. He also demonstrates the ability to pick up large pillars in the area, and then toss them towards Ethan. But in the end, even with this mid-boss confrontation, the stronger older brother of Urias would be fought towards the end of the game, which happens when we play as Chris Redfield.
No! Why alarm me? That boulder punching asshole!
And mind you, Chris Redfield at this point is highly equipped with some of the best weapons in the game, so when we face the older brother of Urias, it just goes to show the power difference between the two giants, because our confrontation with this monster happens prior to our discovery of the large megamycete origins.
I found it. It's the megamycete.
With Urias Strajer, also known as a giant guardian, befitting his role of protecting the megamycete from any hostiles. So like his younger brother, Urias Strajer would wield a large mace as a primary weapon, though looking to be much more heavily armored, and the tentacle-like tendrils protruding from his back. Chris Redfield at this point acknowledging how powerful his foe is, asking for assistance during his battle with the older Urias. This of course would only be done using a lock-on missile method attack, leaving you vulnerable if not timed properly. So with both Urias monsters, we can tell that they are heads above the regular Lycan monsters, literally. But it was great to see that even though technically that the Lycan creatures would be on the failure side of the cadou parasite infection, it's still amazing to see a Lycan behemoth of this magnitude still be so effective and powerful when going up against it. Also, the fact that the older brother Urias monster became the guardian of the megamycete only substantiates how powerful they truly were. Anyways, what did you guys think about the Urias brothers and their role in Resident Evil Village? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, if you guys enjoyed the content, then please feel free to like and subscribe for more Resident Evil videos in the future. Anyways, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you guys have a great rest of your day, and this is Hey DeVuH, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Eat shit.